No, I don't like to do that.
Welcome to Dirty Tea Podcast. This is your girl V Savage in the building, and I have a new guest for you guys this week. We have D Valence. Say what's up.
What's up, y'all? Peace.
And he's a local rapper here from Hartford, in the Hartford, county area, and we are going to be talking about sex work is work. Because I know, sex workers out there get a bad rep, but honestly, these days it's an actual, I don't want to call it like an actual profession. It's been a profession, but I feel like it needs to be more respected. And I think it goes hand in hand with your new single. What is we have a snippet that we're going to put at the end.
Yeah.
Any favorite clubs? Because they're mostly gone now, a lot of them.
I would say Electric Blue.
Electric Blue. That's in like Vernon.
Yeah.
Rockville area.
Yeah, Mansfield. Yeah.
I stumbled upon that club. I've never been inside, but when I used to drive Uber, I actually picked up a couple who met there. She was a stripper. Yeah. He was a customer. Yeah. And that's how they met. And they were doing like their 4-year anniversary, bouncing from strip club to strip club. Wow. So I brought them from there to some other club. I can't remember where it was. Yeah. There was clubs I didn't even know existed out here in Connecticut. And they're like in the cut. Like there used to be one. There was another one in the Vernon area. Lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky
it's still
something.
there though, I think.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
I want to say it's called something else.
It's something else though. It used to be Cahoots, I think.
Yes.
Back in the day.
I worked there once. One day. I only lasted one day. And this is a true story. You'll never hear it anywhere else. So help me God. But at the time, I was a Friendly's waitress. And my first day there, mind you, I was underage. I had my boyfriend at the time signed over for me like he was my guardian. And we got it notarized by his sister to say I was 18 or at least allowed to work by a guardian, right? It's so easy to get bypass all that shit. They don't care. They just want the paperwork. And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, right? I'm like, do I go on the stage naked? Do I take it off while I'm there? Like, how does this work? And I was terrified because I was too young to drink to like loosen up. Yeah. So I'm sober as fuck. And I'm already like, they're like, your heels aren't tall enough. They have a uniform for heels, like certain inches you gotta wear. And then what do you know?
Specific.
Very specific. Very specific rules that they have. Yeah. And the manager who was engaged to this girl I grew up with, so that made it even worse, was there for like a bachelor party. And he's like, oh my God, I'm not looking. And I was like, I just ran out of there. I ran off stage. I left. I don't think I finished my shift. No, he was out. Mortified. Absolutely mortified. Yeah. So that's like my stripping resume there. But and I'm thinking, I don't know a goddamn soul out here. No one is ever gonna recognize me.
Yeah, because that like you said, that's in the cut. That
one's in the cut. Yeah, like you gotta look for that.
You looking.
You gotta look deep for that.
Yeah,
you're
looking for that one. Yeah. I was in in Bridgeport. Shout out to Bridgeport recently, and they doing it. They kind of making Hartford County look like we're Puritans out here. You know what I mean? Like there's
like the nightlife you're talking about.
Well, the strip clubs, specifically the strip clubs.
Oh, so they have like multiple clubs.
Yeah,
out there?
So they got a few out there. There's like 5 or 6, all within like a half an hour. So it's like you could do like tours. You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
You could do like a one night tour and hit them all up. Go strip club hopping. But we went to Scruples. They got Scruples out there. Shit, I don't remember the names. I should, but I don't remember the names.
That means it was a good night.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Shout out. But hold on, I'm gonna have to shout them out though because I have them. Hold on.
Are we talking about like the clubs? Kind of like I want to really go to Atlantic City or like Atlanta, where they have like the tricks that they do and shit. Because out here, like if you go to Glow Club, it's like they're just twerking, doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
I want to go where they're doing the tricks and shit. Like I want to see that.
Yeah, like Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're doing like gymnastics
ATL,
and shit.
Yeah.
On them poles. Yo, don't get me started on the poles.
Because like you said, it's serious. It's like real serious out there.
Yeah.
It's
they take that shit seriously.
That shit is serious. Yeah. That shit is an art.
Yeah.
Where
it
here
is an
is
art.
like, where here is just.
It's athletic.
Yeah.
Are you kidding
Word.
me?
Yep.
Trying to even get up that pole, much less down it, you need athleticism. Like you can't just hop up there and do it. Like no.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Nah. And but here they got like, I mean, that's the problem with Electric Blue. Like most of the girls, I mean, shout out to Electric Blue, but like a lot of the girls they bring in. So most of them, I mean, if you want to have a conversation, they probably like they don't speak English. You know what I'm saying? So they bring in a lot of foreign chicks, which is good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying
something different.
It's
spicy?
a little different. Yeah, a lot of Brazilians.
Really?
A lot of Brazilian chicks. Shout out to all the Brazilian chicks.
I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, a lot of them, and they must be coming from tri-state somewhere because it's always changing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's always changing, and I don't really hit Electric Blue like that. Some of my partners that are there a lot, they'll tell you like it's always changing. So they getting girls from different, you know what I'm saying, different places. But the spots in the bridge is Mystique. That's the one I was gonna say. Mystique. Mystique. They had it going on. They have a spot in the bridge and they have a spot in Stanford. Scruples, Pure Platinum, and Bishop's Corner. So that's like 5.
Oh, that sounds like West Hartford Bishop's Corner.
Yeah.
If you want the real Bishop's Corner.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so
you gotta take a drive.
Yeah, and we went to what was it? Scruples. Scruples is like you talking about in the cut. There's fucking like all businesses, like contracting businesses there. There's a fucking like a railroad track runs through that shit. You wouldn't even know that there's a strip club there unless you like went there.
So they going on their lunch break.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause
that's what that's for.
Yeah, and I dipped up in there because I was recently trying to do shoot a video. And we was looking for an extra. So I popped up in there and tried to get, somebody who was available. But nobody was available. But still shout out to them, for even talking to me like that, So, so yeah.
All right. So I'm going to have to make a trip.
Yeah.
Because me and my friends, we like doing couples nights at the strip club. Believe it or not, it's pretty fun. I almost got kicked out once because I was dancing on the stripper and the bouncer was like, no, that's not allowed. And I'm like, I'm not touching her. But okay.
Right.
But it was still a good time. Good time.
Scruples, that's the one. That's
all right. That's the one to go to.
Bridgeport. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of sex workers. I mean, there's prostitution, there is stripping, there is OnlyFans now. That's a new one. I mean, there was always like sex cams and that kind of thing, but this is a new outlet for people to not have to pay someone else and basically be working for themselves. And I never thought about it as these, people are self-contracted basically. So they work for themselves. And I didn't realize that until I did work for that one day at whatever that was, Lucky whatever. It was Cahoots at the time, but it was interesting because you had to pay the DJ, you had to pay the house mom, they call it. And I'm like, what the fuck is a house mom? Like, why do I need her? But she would basically like, if you need like baby wipes, stuff to freshen up, like that kind of thing, then they would do that. But there was so many people you had to pay out to that I was like, how does anybody make money here? And because I was a rookie, there was a girl that I got introduced to that worked there too, and she was trying to like ask the regulars like, oh, you know, she's new, why don't you let her give you a lap dance? And they're like, hell no, because obviously the extra shit happens in the back, and they're like, she ain't gonna do that. You know? And I'm like, it's just crazy, because I'm like, how do they make any money? Like, I don't even know how much I left out there with. I used to do some private parties where I actually made bank, but I thought I would make so much more at the club because there's so many more people, and I thought maybe I get at least 1 or 2 lap dances, but no. I was skinny back then, so I'm not surprised, but Mama got junk in the trunk now, but the stretch marks is not helping. So, you know, maybe after my reconstruction, maybe we'll give it another go, but maybe not. But yeah, it's just crazy to think that during the pandemic, like, what did these women do?
Right. How did they supplement, you know, how they was getting money in public?
Exactly.
Publicly.
No unemployment?
Yeah, right. There was none of that. You know what I'm saying? Left out in the cold.
Yeah.
You know, and one of my partners told me, he said when COVID kicked up, a lot of that stuff kicked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you could just see it, you know, all online, and it was like just all out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, but it's crazy because, like you said, you're really even when you're employed by like a spot like that, you're still kind of working for self. You know what I'm saying? Schedule C.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
There's no W-9.
There's
No.
none of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the kick-up system is crazy. I didn't know that. You know that I always heard about that. You know, there was kickback, like a system like that, but not that many people.
Right.
Know, like built in like that, which
So
is crazy.
yeah. So basically, like, if you're not paying taxes quarterly,
Right.
there's nothing to claim. So you're screwed, and who's gonna pay fucking taxes
Right.
when you're not making shit anyway?
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's all under the table.
Right.
So
Right.
who's gonna pay that? Nobody. So, and I don't blame them, but who thought a pandemic would happen like this?
Yeah.
You know, nobody
Yeah.
foresaw something that crazy where, you know, countries were shutting down. Like, no one ever thought that would happen, no matter what your profession is. But also, have you ever seen like Craigslist, those back end pages?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that until, you know, a friend of mine showed me, and I was like, oh my God, I tried to post free kittens on here. They probably thought I was talking to some innuendo. Free kitty. Like, no, that's not what I meant. Surprisingly, I got no hits, but I had to give the cats to somebody else. I think Facebook. Facebook always works. Facebook Marketplace. Sell yourself on there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So it was interesting what you told me. We was talking offline about how when that shit went down, when they took it down, which I didn't even know they did, that gave birth to OnlyFans, which
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. In
crazy.
2016, that's when OnlyFans started, because everything else shut down pretty much. Craigslist had to shut down that back end page, but they didn't like shut down completely. Although there was another one that called Backstage. And then there was a couple other sites. I can't remember the names of them. Also, Hartford, The Advocate.
Yeah.
They have their own shit too.
Yep.
And I'm like,
That shit used to be in print.
yeah. Is it not anymore?
Am I showing? Yeah.
I haven't seen
don't
that in a
even
long
know.
time.
Yeah. But
Oh,
I remember,
damn.
Yeah, that shit
I remember
used to be in
too.
print. Yeah.
And I wondered, how is this magazine still live?
Right.
How?
How the fuck are they?
Whoever reads this shit,
Right.
and it's free.
Yeah, because people don't really use like that medium anymore like that.
No,
So how are they still able to even maintain that shit?
because of the back end
Because of the
pages.
yeah. So you're saying that drives the whole shit?
Yeah.
Like people wouldn't even like nobody's like grabbing the Advocate to look at like
Hell no.
the latest article on the Yard Goats if they won last week. You know
Nobody
what I
gives a
mean?
fuck
Like,
about Yard
I mean,
Goats.
Like the scores. That's ill. Yeah, I never even. That's crazy. Yeah.
I was like, how is
Driving
this
that
still
shit.
alive?
Yeah.
And it is because of those advertisements that people paid for.
Yep.
It'd be like, looking on some girl on girl action or whatever in the what do they call it? The classified section?
Yeah.
That was their
Yep. Yeah.
packing page.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that the back end on Craigslist, that's where all the stuff for Art Cinema was. All the invitations to like the orgies and the parties. And I was like, I've lived in Hartford almost majority of my life. And I'm like, I always drove by the Art Cinema, never actually knew what it was until like well in adulthood. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to go just to see,
Yeah.
like a bucket list check off type of thing. Like, is that something you would do? Like, would you go there just to see what's going
Just to
on in
see
that
what the
place?
fuck. I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, it's crazy because like I never went in, but I knew what the fuck was going on. I never went in. What was that spot on Franklin Ave? They shut that shit down 2 years ago. It got raided.
They had one on Zion Street too.
Yeah, but that joint that was there for years. I don't know if you remember the one I'm talking about. It was a brothel, but they got caught.
It was a brothel?
And it was like
on Franklin?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yes, there was.
I
And
never knew that.
It was ill too because it was like it didn't look. It was a crazy looking building. And it was. But they shut that shit down. But I always, because I had heard about that too, and it was like, yo, you don't know what's going on. Nah, I don't go in shits like that. Like I wouldn't know. But cats were like, yo, yeah, oh yeah, what's going down in there? And then it got shut down. They like, they shut it down. They got raided. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of like salons. I know there was one in Wethersfield, like Berlin Turnpike. There was a lot of them where they were given a happy ending with their pedicures or whatever the case was. Their massages,
acrylic or gel. You know what I mean?
I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna think about that twice next time I go get my feet done. Like, what are you really giving me though? You're moving your hands a little high. I know. Don't go past the kneecaps.
Yeah. Berlin Turnpike was littered with that shit though.
Lit with that.
And it's kind of quieted down, you know.
A lot. Yeah.
It's kind
They
of
had a lot of
quieted
raids.
down. Yeah.
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 But I'm like, there's so much worse crime going on. Like, are we really gonna focus on that
Crazy
right now?
the crazy story you were talking about Art Cinema. There was also not Art Cinema City. But not Cinema City, Real Artways.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
So I never really, that was another spot I knew about, but I never thought to go there. And they showed Biggie and Tupac when the movie first came out, like, you know what I'm saying, when it got released wide to theaters and shit. Because, Showcase Cinema was not carrying that shit.
No.
And it was only there for like a week. So me and my girl went and saw it at the time, and it was like, it's like this little, you wouldn't even know it's over there. Like I didn't even know where it was. It's so tucked over there by like, where the boxing club is, and Spaghetti Warehouse where that used to be. You know what I mean? Like over there.
Spaghetti Warehouse.
So we go and see that shit, and so I'm at some gathering. And so like I don't know if it was a family thing, it was like friends of ours, friends of family, whatever. And it was my godmother's sister, and she was like, your mom's was saying that you was over at Real Artways. You was over there. I was like, so I'm like, where the fuck she going with this? like why is she asking me about this shit? So now it gets weirder, it gets awkwarder. She's like, oh yeah. She's like, yeah, I used to go there back in the day. She's giving me like the winks and shit. I'm
like you got a twitch?
Yeah, right. And she's
need
like,
some water?
Yeah, and she's like, it used to be crazy up in there back in the day and shit. And I was like, yo, what the fuck were you into? You know what I mean? And it's crazy. She said, what you were saying about our cinema.
Yeah,
because the shit that go like
the orgies,
the shit that's going on,
parties.
you don't go in, you don't even know.
You have no idea.
So she's telling me more shit. So that must have been apparently back in the day. That was like a loose,
right?
You know what I mean, for like the hippies and shit
Right.
like that. And I don't know what the fuck was going on.
I mean, when I found out about this though, that was only about like 8 years ago. So I'm sure it's still going strong.
Yeah.
But you don't ever see a car parked in front of there, ever,
Yeah.
never. Like, where do they go?
Right.
That's
Right.
off topic,
Right.
but where do they go?
Yeah.
Like, how do they get in there? Where do they park? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There must be a system for this for complete privacy. Like, I'm just wondering.
And that's like the stores too, like the sex store, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Those joints, like I'm surprised even with the amount that CT has dried up. Like you see spots like VIP, like you could go by, I've gone by Brainerd several times when I'm out that way. And like, there's not a car, like you said, there's not a car in the parking lot.
Because people go late night, like probably right before they close.
Yeah. And I went in there too, and I was like looking for, and that's why we ended up in Bridgeport. Shout out to my little cousin. He got married. So I popped up in there to try to get some like gag shit for him.
Stuff, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was up in there. I was like, damn, this shit. I ain't been in there in like a long time.
Yeah.
This shit it's all different now.
Yeah.
It's like they had to come up with different shit to sell. You know what I mean? To pull people.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
They have.
It used to be different. The
Have
shit
you
was
been
different.
to one in Manchester?
Nah.
They have a whole area of just knives.
Yeah.
Like knives and swords.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does this go hand in hand with sex toys? Like, are these for like the creeps that chop you up? Like what is this for?
Like how the fuck does that equate? Yeah.
But it was kind of cool.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it
right,
was kind of
right,
cool.
right.
Like, I'll
Yeah.
have to come back and check the swords out when I'm done with this. Like, come on. Like, there's like bongs and shit. Like, this is very weird. Like, I don't know how I feel about this when I go in there.
Ninja swords and shit. Yeah. It really does, like you said, it really don't match up.
It doesn't match.
The shit
up.
does not match
Does
up.
not go together.
Nah.
Oh my God. So before we get too out of control, I want to find out more about you. So
Yeah.
what kind of music is that you do?
Yeah, so it's I do country music. Nah. I'm talking, yeah,
The honky tonk?
Yeah. Nah. Yeah, so it's rap music. It's old school, it's true school shit. It's hip hop, lyrics. Shout out to all the new school, all the young kids, the drill rappers, the trap rappers.
I don't understand none of that shit.
Nah, me neither. I just hear that shit,
Like, word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm more lyrical driven, straight up,
So are you closer to like that 90s type of rap?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the sweet spot.
Yeah.
That there's a gap for that nowadays.
Yeah.
And what made you get into it?
Yeah, really just the culture. When I was a kid, growing up in Hartford and West Hartford,
You grew up in West Hartford?
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah, Farmington Ave. Shout out to
Oh shit! I was
shout
on
out-
New Britain Ave.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you Conard or High? Hall High.
So I left and I moved to east of the river before I even got there.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So, but I grew up on Lily Road.
Lily Road.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like right after the line. So I was there. I migrated that way. You know what I mean?
Shout out to West Hartford.
Shout out to West Hartford. Back then you could, I was a latchkey kid, so you could still, it was different. Shit was different.
Shit was different back then.
Shit was different. But,
Yeah.
They used to block off the streets. We used to have the block parties. And on the last, like I was telling you about the last cast I was on off air, they was asking me like, what was that thing that like clicked with you? And it was just that breaking music, all that breakdancing shit like back in the 80s was just something about that shit.
Yeah.
Shaka Khan, Ain't Nobody, Beat Street, Electric Boogaloo, like all that shit was just so genuine.
Exactly.
And it was starting to make its way from NY to Connecticut. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like the culture hadn't taken over yet.
Right.
Like it has now. But we know we used to block off the streets, off the Farmington Ave once a summer, and tag up our little kicks, and we had the cardboard out.
Yes.
the fucking lights, like the fucking lights were moving with the cardboard.
Do you
and
kids
shit.
even know what cardboard is? Have you seen that before?
Yeah,
Because everything's digital now.
yeah. And and even back then, even around Connecticut, like the grown folks was looking like, what the fuck, what are they doing, But I think that's when it started, Shaka Khan, that shit, Ain't Nobody, those flicks, just wanted to do that shit, and then it kind of just evolved. I mean, I like all music, that's my word. I like all music. I'm not gonna front like I don't, I'm just a hip hop. I love all music. You know what I mean? But something about rap music just really just stuck with me,
Yeah.
And then back in the day it was like, battle rapping was not a sport. It was more bragging rights and shit.
Yeah.
Like people like we used to hang each other. That's what we called it. And I think it kind of evolved from like, let's see who we can crack on, and then let's see if we can do it with rhymes.
Right.
So it kind of evolved into that.
Right.
But I got into that. I got into the battle rapping part of it before I even got into actually writing rhymes. And when I got into the writing rhyme part, it was like that was a whole different chamber, whole different cipher, because you actually sit down and fucking try to write and craft shit that motherfuckers would want to listen to over and over again.
Right.
So it's like a whole different, it's a whole different part of the craft you have to kind of like learn. So, but yeah, I fell in love with that shit. I still love it, before that shit became, I think as massive as it is now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The popular. And it's crazy too because and I want to take I want to hog
No,
this
you're
shit.
good. Go ahead.
But I equate rap music to like fucking porn. Because I be around circles and they look at me, and that shit about like not judging a book by its cover, but motherfuckers would look at me and be like, okay, what's he like? And
Yeah.
I feel like when I say, never mind say I'm a rapper, but I listen to rap music, it's like that. Oh,
Instant judgment.
yeah, it's like, you like rap music? Oh fuck, like, and it's always like, and that's the shit that drives me crazy, because it's almost like porn. Like everybody fucking watches porn. Like, let's be honest, what I mean?
we all do.
But music is like most time people don't like talk about what they like. It's not, you know
So
what I mean?
true.
Like people don't talk
So
about
true.
genres like that. And sometimes I get in situations where I want to straight up say to people, nah, I fucking like rap. Like I really love rap. You know what I mean? No disrespect to country, no disrespect to pop, but I'm just a rap. I'll probably be that way till I'm fucking, 90 years old. But it's like porn. Yeah, it's like porn. It's like the porn. It's like the music. It's like the music genre of porn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because motherfuckers won't say. And I feel like white dudes my age, they're not gonna, like in the 90s, they may have been on that shit. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah.
But that shit is
They're
faded.
not gonna
now.
admit it now.
They're
yeah.
not gonna admit that shit now. Nah, they're rocking with fucking. I don't know what they're rocking with, but I know what I rock with. But
Yeah.
I still, I geek out. You know what I mean? I'm an artist too, but I geek out too. Friday comes around, I'll be on my fucking iPhone at like 3:00 in the morning, checking to see what's dropping. I still get into it like that.
Do you write your own stuff?
Yeah, I do. I have like one ghostwriter. Shouts out to D Franks, and he's kind of like he puts the battery in my back.
Nice.
He gives me like a bar here, a bar there, and he's like, "Go write that shit." You know what I mean? That's
Like a good starter pack. Get you going.
D's actually one of the owners of the bourbon that I gave y'all.
Oh, yes. Shout
yeah.
out to the bourbon.
Yeah,
Tell us about this.
Yeah, so 1970 something, they're the first black-owned bourbon company out of Connecticut.
And it's actually called that, so you don't think
Yeah,
you forgot it's 19 something.
Yeah. Yeah, so
That's dope.
So they named that shit after a Big Lyric, and they're all 70s babies like myself, so it felt fitting. But yeah, he's my only ghostwriter. Other than that, it's all me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. And where can people find your music?
So I'm on all the DSPs. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all that shit. And I got a project coming out June 24th, Natural Causes. It's a project that I did like 10 years ago. I had it remastered to make it digital, get it up to speed with now. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's scaled back. I scaled it back. I dropped some music off of it for business reasons and shit. That verse that I gave you is a verse from a track that I had did in the previous version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but shit had to be kind of fixed. And
do you feel like being in the business world and in the rap music, you got to kind of filter your stuff?
Yes.
That sucks. So
it's crazy you said that. I'm so glad you said that, T, because I was kind of at a crossroads with that shit because I kind of came back. So I did this shit when I was young. When I, like we were talking about, and I used to record in the Bronx, and we was trying to make a demo and all that shit. And then one day, and I've talked about this before, with a lot of people. It's an interesting topic, but basically, the shit about like, and I don't know how these, we're talking about like the generation of now, like what you kick, you gotta live. I want to talk to all y'all out there, but whatever you kick, you gotta live, and if you don't, then you probably shouldn't be spitting about that,
right?
Facts, because there are motherfuckers out there that will call you on your shit, and if you're not about that, then you got an issue. You know what I mean? So I learned that early on.
I mean, there's a lot of new artists that will straight up be like, I never held a gun in my life, but you're talking about all the guns and this and that, and you shooting up people and whatever. And I'm just like, why? Like,
yeah. And when I was young, I got, taught lessons in that really quickly with futility, because we used to go and record in the Bronx, and I had peoples out there. And, you get out there and you're on the corners and you're far away from Connecticut and you're with your partners and you're in a cypher and shit. And I used to be in spots where like they didn't even want white dudes rapping.
Yeah.
Like never mind being there,
right,
know?
Yeah.
And so through that, I would talk to cats out there and they would be like, nah, you don't understand. There's a whole culture behind this culture.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So get ready for that. Because if you're not, ex-felon, or you're not carrying, or you're not dealing, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you spit about that, somebody's going to call you on that shit. And it was like, little 16-year-old me, you know what I'm saying, with the wave and shit, thinking I'm fucking, you know what I mean?
You had a wave?
Yeah, I had the fucking wave and shit, thinking I'm fucking Brian Austin Green in the fucking Bronx. You know what I mean? This ain't motherfuckers in New York like, yo, this ain't 90210.
What y'all know about 90210?
And it was like, yo. And I'm glad I went through that shit because it changed the way I wrote, and shouts out to all the Kings, Eminem and Everlast and motherfuckers like that. But it became like you had to find your own, you know what I mean, your own authenticity. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like what do you bring to it? What are you gonna bring? And every rapper has their own shit, that they do. But I think you kind of have to pivot and find a way to make stories about your life, stories about your perspective on the game, right? And then just your craft. You have to fucking, pivot that shit and find your own, own niche in this shit.
And it's funny because that's why I started this podcast, because I was in, a part of the medical field where you work for certain corporate places and they watch your social medias, and I got yelled at once for putting LMFAO on a photo or something that one of my girlfriends said, and they happened to read it and they're like, you can't be cursing and this and that. This is an image, like you're the image of this place. And I'm just like, it's literally an abbreviation. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah. It's
and
not.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't be your authentic self. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because who the fuck are you if you're not your authentic self? Like, why are we even doing anything? Like, who are you? Like, I feel like for me, I needed some sort of outlet, because I am, I don't want to say a highly sexual person, but I like talking about this stuff. I like just just being free and
Verbalizing
being
shit.
able to just say what's on your mind, whatever the subject is, and not be penalized for it. So that's why, I was like, okay, I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to change my name on here. People won't know who I am. They won't see my face, and I can say whatever I want. And it just went from there and kind of grew. And now we're being listened to in like 19 countries and like 39 or something states in the US. And
That's what's up.
now I'm like, okay, gotta put a face to it.
Yeah.
I have no choice.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy you said that too, because like my man said, because back in the 90s, shout out to Wu-Tang Clan, but like
Wu-Tang.
Ghostface was one of those dudes
Ghostface.
that like he hit his face intentionally. You know what I'm saying?
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so up till I think they did like their first video or something, he had the nylons over his joint.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was, I'm like, cats were geeked off of his voice, you know what I mean? And it was just like, who the fuck
It's
is
so
that?
different.
Yeah.
I can still pick out his voice.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing like it.
Yeah. And like I feel like if I had Blue, and if I had really like pushed to do it back then, I would have did the same shit, because it gets to a point where you gotta come out, you know what I mean? And you gotta show, people want to see what's behind the rhyme. They want to see that face. They want to put the cover to the book. You know what I'm saying? I was lucky enough to do what I did 10 years back, and work with the individuals I work with. There was a lot of shit going on in Connecticut. We had New York cats coming here trying to get on, and they was using the Connecticut market as a test. You know what I mean, to see what they could do. And a lot of them got locked up. One in particular got locked up. One went on to become really big. And there was some other fallout and shit that happened from that. But like around that time when I came in,
Right.
I stayed away from social media. Intentionally, because and I did the MySpace shit. Shout out to MySpace.
I was gonna say there wasn't much social media
There
other
wasn't
than
much,
MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace and shit.
AOL chats.
Yeah, and there was only one cat that I met on there, and I'm happy that I still maintain that relationship with him. He's out of Buffalo. Shout out to Casso Beats. His sister. Oh my gosh, his sister is worked. She's on Griselda's projects. So he's got a steady stake in the culture now.
Griselda.
Yeah.
That makes me think of the Colombian drug dealer.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like Benny the Butcher.
Oh shit.
The Conway the Machine. So
Yeah.
that became my like Buffalo connection. But I got him through MySpace.
Okay.
But like basically what I'm trying to tell you is I came in at a time where I could like disappear again. And come back again. But I was conflicted, like you said, with that. Like, how do you maintain both? And so I had the ability to come back because I never really came in.
Okay.
That's what's kind of ill about it.
Yeah.
I've always just been, and I did the switch up, changed my name. You know what I mean? And that was always intentional,
Right.
to switch my shit up.
Yeah.
And I've done that 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I finally took foot in DVS, took foot in Diva Lens, DVS. Y'all heard that. Yeah. So I took foot in Diva Lens, and I'm happy about it. You know what I mean? But now I got to COVID. You're probably wondering, so what the fuck now? Why now?
Right, why now?
So COVID happened, and I had like a lot of music in the stash that was just sitting there. And I had rhymes that I was writing, and a partner of mine from the ATL, who I used to rhyme with back when he was in Connecticut, was always kind of giving me that nudge. You know what I mean? Like, yo, just put a single out. Just get on a song with me. Come on, dude. Now I was always like, nah, I'm good. Like, I was just like... and it was a lot of shit, the business side of this shit is just, as y'all know, is just fucking is ruthless.
Yes.
Yes. I think, learning that early on too has brought me to this place now where it's like, it is what it is. Every fucking business is ruthless. Every game is ruthless, whether it's corporate grind or fucking music grind,
it's all
of
the
that.
same.
It's all baked in.
It's all the same.
It's all, I think it's all how you move. And you got to realize that, everybody really wants to get heard and wants to get seen. But I think that there's individuals out there that do music, and they're in the industry in different facets, whether you're a producer or a beat maker, or a graphic designer, or a rapper, or a music video girl. They do it because they love this shit.
Exactly.
And it's art. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and it took me coming back in, it took me a minute to fucking realize that shit. Like, you know what I mean? People can take it or leave it. You either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you have a voice. You have the ability to give people what you do, and you should do it. You know what I mean? You should follow and all these all MCs out there, kids that want to do this shit. If you want to do it, pursue that shit. Right? There's always going to be this where you got to step to the business side of it and get your arms around it. But that's with anything. You know what I mean?
Literally anything. And with the corporate world, like, you can sit there and fight and try to push your way through. But if you're not, you're most likely that's not what you love to do. You know, you're doing it because you have to. I think the struggle is that much more. What's the word I'm looking for? When you're doing something you're passionate about and that you love to do, it doesn't feel like work. The struggle doesn't feel like a struggle. It's I'm just getting to the next step, you know, and it's just different, and you're going to move different when you really love it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and you're going to be more patient with it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because you have to have patience.
Yeah.
Things don't happen overnight.
Yep.
It could take 10 years. It could take 2 years.
Yep.
You don't know. But if you really love it, it's not going to matter because you're going to keep pushing through, and that's going to give you the drive to keep pushing through versus working in corporate world. If it's, I mean, some people love that shit. Some people really do. Me, not so much. Like, I tried corporate for a little bit. I absolutely despised it. I hated it. And now I work for small family-owned companies, and better off that way, you know, because they treat you like family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they're probably mid-sized too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which makes a difference.
Makes a difference. So before we end the show, I hope you come back because there was so many questions that I had, but the topic just went like full force into other stuff, but it was so much fun that I was laughing so hard that I couldn't even get to any of the serious stuff. So I hope you come back and maybe we could do a part 2.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to come back to you.
Let everybody know where can they find you on social media. Maybe then they can find the links to your music.
Yeah, no doubt. So you can find me on the gram. It's Divalence Official. Like I said, all my stuff is on all the streaming platforms now. Flowing Pains just came out 2 weeks ago. That's a new single coming off of Natural Causes, which is dropping on June 24th. Like I said, that's digitally remastered. Natural Causes, that'll be dropping on June 24th. I got another project in the works for 2023. So just, you know what I mean, come out there, you know, say what's up, hit me on the gram. I'd love to hear from y'all.
Awesome. And we normally do a yearly show each year where we have like local talent and stuff. So I'm going to reach out to you. Hopefully, you're not too busy because you got all these projects. But we'll see if you're around for it. And thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate it.
Thank you, T. Thank you.
Check us out on Dirty T Podcast. That's Dirty T _podcast. IG, Facebook. You can even email me if you have topics you want to hear about or questions for any of the guests, whatever it is, hit me up. dirtytpodcast@gmail.com. And listen, stay tuned. We are going to play a clip of his single and check that out. And I'm so excited for y'all to hear that. So definitely reach out and tell us what you think. Good night.
Peace.
Giving Mike's ministry cycle, streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle.
You can tell by my actions when I get flowing pains. My mood starts to swing, the ink is leaving stains. Bleeding out the bars, concepts start to gush. Thoughts racing, my mind starts to rush. Intoxicated lush, like I've been swinging blush. Face all red, it's like I'm half dead. Heartbeat slows till I get them off my head. My whole existence hanging by a thread. My vitals improve, a period of peace, till another track is ready for release. At times I can't sleep, it keeps me awake. Suffer from insomnia, how much more can I take? Rhymes irregular, all I do is write. Nocturnal animal, no artificial light. Comes out best at night, left, right, left, right. For this honorable discharge, I should earn a stripe.
Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle.
The flow is light at first, until I start to curse. Then the mad fat flu is soaking up the verse. Old school, use a pad for support. The issues that I sort, some subjects I abort. If they coming out as defects on writer's block, I leave a spot. My rap's just that hot, my stomach's in a knot. It thickens like a plot, then my thoughts unclot. Call the ambulance, somebody get swat. Damn, this pain, it's dangerous to my health. Chemical romance, really feeling myself. Maybe I'm imbalanced, check the EQ. Clairvoyant when I'm in pain, I seek you. Euphoric when I get metaphoric. It's metaphysical, I just can't ignore it. No form of contraception, it's immaculate conception. And since you heard the best, you won't accept any exceptions.
Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle.
I hold the flow like the body holds its water. Once a month I experience lyrical slaughter. Bloody massacre, MCs call it flowing pains. Cause we'd rather get it off our brains and get some brains. My eyes dilate like a cervix. It's coming from my cortex, so I refrain from sex. And like a prize fighter, I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I blow others full of shit. I'm filled with the illest shit I ever wrote. That's why I blow. I don't mean to glow, but murder, hero. Like the lunar cycle, one with full moons. I spit for the goons and write these Looney Tunes. I need some Motrin or an instrumental. Can't settle, they a mess from the mess room. No 7 days, I ain't saying this some bitch shit. Just to describe the pain of writing hit shit.
Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle. Giving Mike's ministry cycle. Streets disciple. I rock beats that's mega trifle.